All right, man. I know that song isn't the greatest, that intro song. It's a YouTube, I'll call it a YouTube original. You get to go on there and you get some free audio tracks. Man, I get lost in it sometimes. How you guys doing? Okay, so recap time. We're wrapping up the three Gloomhaven characters that we still got left up. We're going to go ahead and show the ones that we've already done. Brute, Craighheart, and Spellweaver. Just open those bad boys up. And thank you, too, right off the crack. Since that first stream alone, I've got a hefty amount of orders. And I appreciate you guys for that. That's awesome. People wanting the ones that we've already done, which is exciting because that means the ones that we're going to be wrapping up today. They will be going up for sale today. So long as I finish the colors, which we're going to try our best. I don't know how it's going to go, but maybe I'll have to do it a little bit later today. But they'll be on my Etsy store today, at worst tomorrow. And you can get, I'm going to also put up there a whole collection that you can grab so you can get all six of the starters, or, whichever ones you like. But we got the Spellweaver, Craighheart wrapped up, and the good old Brute. And so I went off screen yesterday after we did all the roughs. If you wanted, you could watch part one where I showed sort of the thumbnails and then getting to where we are. And I did the line art for the first one. But we got the line art wrapped up here for the Scoundrel, Mind Thief, and the Tinkerer. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to slap some inks on these. They should go pretty quick. The inking style, let me just bring up the Brute that we had before. And I guess I can kind of show you here. So we had the roughs, convert that to the tight line art. And then we go ahead and we slap the inks, which we're going to be doing now. So it's very simple. It's just basic line weights for this one. There's no real heavy black areas or anything. So we're going to start with the Scoundrel, because that one's going to be my favorite. You can already tell. How's everybody going? Rebecca, welcome. Mechaside, welcome. Create Now, welcome. And everybody else, appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure that, yeah, we're good. Okay, cool. Let's get going here. So we're going to go into the inking. What's this one? Now sometimes, like you'll find right now, it's been a while since I've drawn in this style. So the brushes that I use, they're all here. There we go. But sometimes they have different sensitivities. Like on the chibi stuff, I have everything like turned on super smooth so that the lines look a little bit more clean, as opposed to what I normally do in my other work. So it can get a little tricky trying to remember what brushes we're using. And all of these we're going to go with like a super simple. Stu, welcome, man. We're going to use a super simple line art, or line weights, I should say, style, where just everything's lit from the top. And what some people might get out of this too is seeing how we're going to go ahead and clean up some of the lines. Like they're pretty tight, but hopefully you'll see as we go the power of let me get my reference over here. The power of being able to draw in white, it helps a lot. Do I not have my? Oh no, Scoundrel. There you are. I knew I had you. All right, just want to get my reference going. Boom, 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 boom. Shrink this up. Boom, 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 boom. Did you ever get a chance to get those dry brushes? I am horrible. I forgot. Thank you. Let me. I knew I forgot something. Thank you for calling me out on it, man. You know what? Here. Let me open up my planner here. So due today, upload brushes to Patreon. I have two Patreon things that I have to post. One of them was the brushes. In here, I'll just show you. I actually have it set up. Art. Here, let me bring it over here. Just so I'm not lying to anybody. So I have a master. Where is it? Master reference. Brushes. Clip Studio. Right here. Comics 2020. Boom. See, I even got the image right here. So you see the order. This is how I like to use it. But yes, I'll post these today, 100%. And thank you for reminding me, man. I clearly forgot. But yes, they're all ready to go. So there's that. And then the other post I have to make is for Godslayer. I'm posting how I've written the plots so far, as well as the plots for those that are interested in that. So there'll be a spoiler version and a spoiler-free one that you can download, just so you can kind of follow along for those that are interested in process. How does that look if we break that up? Yeah. So you see what I was kind of doing here? I'm talking about like I'm painting in white. It's almost like using an eraser, but I feel like you can really get some mileage with this kind of thing. And this chick's got these really cool like glowing green eyes, but kind of do like a Spider-Man thing where we can get like that layered kind of texture in there. And I'm just trying to bring out, it looks like it's like a wooden mask or something she's wearing. So I'm really trying to highlight that here in the texture. Once we get to the shading with the color, a lot of this will hopefully pop out a little bit more. Stu, Jar, have you ever looked into TabMate for CSP? Wait, you sent, okay, I apologize, dude. See, I'm apologizing to everybody right when we start off here. Did you just send me, was it you? I know not everybody uses the same names, and I don't think it was Stu Man. I don't think you go by that if you emailed me. But I have here, let me show you guys here. I'll give you your answer right now, and then I'll show you why. I had forwarded, if it was you that sent me that email, please send it to me again, because I lost it. Normally, what I'll do is when I get emails, I call it my off hours. Like, my routine, anyway, is I have this piece of software that I'll show you guys in a second called TickTick. I used to use something called Todoist. What I like about it is I can just like make notes or things that need to get done, whether it's today or later or whenever. And it just helps organize a whole bunch of things. I like using a method called Getting Things Done by David Allen. If you guys even know who the hell that is. I hope so. You might dig some of his stuff. But the idea is to get everything out of your head so that you can always think of your brain as like we'll say Google Chrome, an internet browser. And everything you're supposed to do is a new tab open up. Eventually, you're going to run out of memory, and you're not going to start remembering things like uploading brush packs. Or anything like that. So usually what I'll do is in my off hours, I say, is like people send me emails to check out, or maybe I'll have commission work or anything. And what I do is I just forward all those emails to my TickTick account, and that way at the start of my day, what I do is I go through my TickTick and I see anything that's due today, as well as things that go into what's called your inbox. And everything in that inbox has to get processed by the end of the day. If not every day, every other day. So when you guys send me emails and things, if I can't get to it right away, I just send it there so I know that I have to address it. So what had happened was, and again, I don't know if it was you. It was you. Okay, thank you, Stu. And thank you for resending it, man. What ends up happening is I tag these things, and I can read them at another time, especially if things need to be replied to, because if you're not in this position yet, I hope one day you will be, where you have multiple projects going on for different people, or just things you want to do, and it's very easy for the day to get ahead of you, or you to lose track of what you were doing, or anything can happen, right? So this is just an easy way for me to... oh, that would have been the email coming in from Stu, I'm assuming. So let me just show you guys here. I hope there's nothing too... yeah, no, this is fine. So I'll bring this over here just so you guys can see it. It's just white and clean. Sometimes I like the darker version. Anyway, so one of the reasons I went over to TickTick here instead of Todoist, and all these are paid, but there's free versions. I don't really think they're that expensive. Is since I use the Getting Things Done, I have like they're called lists, but it's just like pockets of stuff, right? I hope there's nothing too crazy in here, but just to show you here, right? Actually, I finished this, I'll do that. But so for home, right? Unemployment stuff that I have. This is just the personal crap here. My stuff for banking and work or whatever. General home stuff, right? Like this one I just finished, recock the tub. Let me just get rid of that. That kind of stuff. So I can go through here, and if I go to work, right? And you can open this up, and you'll see like things, right? So I have something for like Patreon, social media and stuff, right? So these are all the things that I'm working on, but if we go up to the top here, the inbox, this is what I just put in here, right? Upload brushes to Patreon, and I put the due date today. But you can move things around, and it just makes it easier so that when I look at the next 7 days, this is all I have to worry about. You know what I mean? And it just keeps my mind hopefully clear, and I don't have to rely on remembering certain things. And it's my fault, clearly, for the brushes, for not putting it in here. So anyway, when I send an email, it'll always come up here, and I can check it. And then I usually move it to somewhere. And apparently the one that you had sent, I got misplaced. Another cool thing here, and I'm just going to, whatever for you guys, is you can click, this has a calendar mode, which is huge. Like that's today, right? Like there's some stuff here. Maybe I'm just going to go, you know what? I don't want this due on Thursday, but let's bump it to Saturday. You can move that around and it'll change the due dates and stuff. This is huge. Even if you're just working on your own personal projects and you want to move things around, that's awesome. Another really cool thing is it has a built-in Pomodoro as well. And you guys, if you've been following me for any period of length, you know Pomodoro technique is, I'm a big fan of that. You can just click that on and start getting some focus done and all that cool stuff. So, anyway, Stu uses TabMate exclusively. I remember seeing it. I've never used it. I remember they were promoting it on the anytime you'd open Clip Studio. I have an old video of using a USB gaming controller to do something similar. And the only reason I got rid of it is because if I had it here and I was drawing on my Cintiq and stuff, I like to be able to, this rotating thing. It feels more like paper. I'm moving my canvas, moving a piece of paper around. So I dig that. And that's sort of what keeps me coming back to this. But I'll check it out because you never know, especially if they have sales or something too. I think it's probably something worth checking out. Okay, so we got the really spiky hair here. Great, now you see Freddy started posting Ninja Turtles on his YouTube. I have not. Create Now is saying he uses the Wacom Express Key Remote. How is that? John, have you seen Jimmy Ray's channel? I have. He's doing ink work for Finch and just had him on. The dude is fantastic, brushes that mimic traditionals. I have seen him. I haven't checked it out too much. Usually my time right now, and I don't mean this in to be ignorant or anything, but, and I don't mean to keep bringing this up, but since now I'm like a lot of people working from home, I don't have the job to go back to just yet. We'll see how everything's playing out. But in my mind, I'm still very much thinking of this as, I don't want to say doomsday, but I don't have a job to go back to. So I'm trying to push on the art stuff. So that means when I still get up at 6:30 every day, and I sit down and I try to get to the art table. Sometimes when you're working at home, you got the baby and stuff like that. Some mornings are a little bit more rough than others, but for the most part, get started. And then I keep the same routine I had when I was working, the Monday to Friday stuff. So I have my lunch, same amount of time, and then I'm done at 4:30. And so what I'm trying to do is respect that because it keeps some balance at home, like some routines. I think routines are very powerful, and I don't want to give it up. So what that means is when it's work time, right? Like I'm sitting here and I'm doing this. So when I'm done work. That's when it's either relax time or hang out with the family a little bit and just catch up with. I'm trying to treat it as if Rona never even happened. That way it keeps the illusion that everything's still okay, if that makes sense. And it keeps me in check because it's very easy for me, and I'm assuming a lot of artists too. But it's very easy to just sort of take something like this that's going on and treat it almost like a vacation or it's just temporary. Just relax. Think of this as just a little bit of extra time off. Collect your checks and everything will iron itself out. That might be making the time to watch them. I'm just trying to stay focused on making and making sure I'm hitting all the beats that I'm trying to do. Because when I was working the day job, sometimes you can put a lot of these videos like what you're talking about, like the inking one on in the background, and I'm not watching that while I'm working. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm doing instead of working, but it's easy to just listen to that in the background. I find if I'm doing that at home, it's very easy to just start getting like, oh, well, it's just me. I'm not, there's no boss or whatever. So I can just watch a YouTube video, and I don't want to go down that road. And saying all that, I'm sure the video is great. Dave's a really cool guy. And if he's sharing what he's doing with people, I'm a big fan of sharing. But I have seen that Ray's guy's videos before, and he does ink. He inks like he is a traditional inker, is he not? Like a lot of the way he inks is very traditional. It's very 90s, if I remember correctly. It's nice stuff. But it can be, I would say the double-edged sword part of that is you can get stuck in using new brushes and all that stuff all the time, as opposed to just doing stuff. That's another reason why I don't want to watch too many people's tutorial stuff anymore. I'm a process junkie, man. I could watch people just figure out hacks and stuff and how to speed things along, all day long. But then I'm not actually doing anything. So, work first, all that pleasure stuff later. All right. What we got here? Express Key Remote is great, just expensive. That's good discipline on the schedule. Thanks, man. He moved to digital. Oh, he did? Okay. Makes sense. You can get more work done quicker too, digital, I would argue. Cost is cheaper. Lots of benefits for digital. We're going here. Alright, so let's talk about a little Gloomhaven action, eh? I was starting to get out of the hobby, the board gaming stuff. I'd say a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. Just with kind of parrying what I was just talking about with time. Sometimes at the end of the night, it's just after you clean everything up and, baby's in bed and dishes and catch up on the day, you just want to relax, right? And a lot of these board games, they got like some beefy setup times. This game included. So I was starting to just get more into video games, and this hobby started getting pushed out to the side. But as of late, I wanted to get back into this, so I got it all started. So hopefully I'll be able to play a game tonight, a game or two. I'm looking forward to it. Getting back into drawing the characters from this world too is like it's up there as like one of my favorite fantasy settings. And there's not even really much story in there. Just the characters are really interesting. But yeah, this inking stuff I'm doing here is super super easy because it's just line weights, and then we're letting all the it's a very cel shaded look. Right, you can let all the shadows be done with the color itself. Yeah, I think this one's... So here, let's just turn it on and off, see what we're looking at. Actually, here, I wanted to show this, and I've forgotten. So, I had some people ask about this, too. When you're working in this method of drawing, like if you're trying to follow or replicate the style that I'm doing this in, I guess probably another good time to talk about the DC Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics by Freddie E. Williams. That's where I ripped this off of. Helps a lot. I try to leave it, and I always end up coming back. I'm a slave to it in a lot of ways, just because of... If you like to work in a factory line sort of production style, which I would argue really benefits with this, that's why I always come back to it, because I can start getting artsy fartsy with brushes and figuring things out, and then it can just become like an ethereal thing. Like I need to start a drawing and finish it, and I'll just grab brushes and stuff or a coloring method and kind of go in there. But with this method, it's just very much like once this step's done, this step's next all the way through, right? But long-winded way to get to it. I've had people say when you add the contour line, you get like this look. Like look at this hair. It's very there's no sharp points and anything. It's just like blurry, right? But again, that's why inking in white, once you get to the inking phase, is huge because you can sharpen up all these lines very quickly. So when we put the ink over top, do you see how sharp things get now? Like it's almost like things are getting tight. Like I'm just looking off on my second monitor here. Like you can see lines, and some people like the Jim Lee kind of look. I'm not saying that's what this is, but like up in here in the hair, where it's like the light's hitting here, so that's going to be pure white, and the line will get broken up. But when we drew it, it was complete, right? It's one of the things a lot of people forget to do when they work this way, is to just do a quick pass. Again, it's not mandatory. It's just something I would recommend doing. It just adds just a little extra texture to it, so it doesn't necessarily feel like that was the way you were drawing in like this. Because like I'm not gonna lie, when you look at this, in my opinion, right, like it looks very much like a coloring book. You know, go in here and draw this very simply, and then you can just go ahead and fill in the colors in that. But even areas like this right here, you see where like the contour layer blocked in. When you get that ink, you can clean it up. You can clean all that stuff up. And we're going to end up doing it down here too, for this little pedestal that they're on. What did I do here? Oh, made a mistake. Just break up that wood a little bit. So tomorrow I think we have some Worlds in Peril stuff to do. Or Galaxies in Peril. I keep keep calling it back what it originally was. And I was realizing I don't think, and it's not any of the project's fault, it's my fault for saying yes to other things, but like Godslayer's getting pushed aside here while we're working on client stuff. It's a little weird because, you know, when with work being the way it is, you want to make sure you're getting checks coming in and possibly building up to maybe replace a day job or replace just a job in general, right? Like you never know how the world goes. So it's like it's hard for me to say no to people that want work done, and I'm fortunate and grateful always. I don't want that to come across as I'm not. But it made me realize it doesn't matter if I'm working at a for somebody else, you know, even though I enjoyed the job. But if I'm working there or if I'm just picking up other client jobs, it's like it's not the day job that's preventing you from making your own comic or your own thing. It's you, because there's always going to be something. So we're gonna have to start figuring out a way. I talked about this too yesterday. Is figuring out certain days of the week or something to really push on stuff. Godslayer is going to require like a good chunk of time because it's going to be like 48 pages, maybe more, depending on if it gets backed, obviously, and possibly some stretch goals for like additional pages, right? But the outline or whatever is 48 pages. And so we'll have to figure out some time for that, as well as these chibis. I want to get back into them as well because they're an additional revenue source. Like I stated at the beginning there, just posting about, and I think it's because Gloomhaven's kind of hot right now because there's a Kickstarter for the sequel. But you know, I got like a decent chunk of orders just from yesterday, just posting and people asking about, you know, getting the completed set and all that. That's huge, man. That's great. And I've said this before too, that people, besides like getting a commission where somebody wants like a drawing done, like let's say like $100 or $200 drawing or something like that, the chibi stuff. The chibi stuff is like the prints anyway has been like my number one income moneymaker, man. Did I put a 20 at that? 2019? Yeah, 20 is fine. And I don't want to give that up because I enjoy doing it too. It's a lot of fun. And the thing is, I got inspired from Derek Loffman. I've talked about him with you guys before. What the hell? One sec. Oh, I had the wrong layers on. Okay. I saw what he was doing with, and I've enjoyed drawing chibis from work, right? And the art style I would say we have is a little different, but the coloring is similar, and it's a mobile style. I believe Derek worked in mobile games as well. He just carried that style over into his personal stuff, and that's what I've been doing too. And it's been pretty successful. And I don't want to give that up, like I'm saying, and I enjoy it. So I'm thinking maybe like a Monday or a Friday we do like one new chibi a week or something like that. And it just goes into my online store. That's selling really well over there, more so than like my Ninja Turtle drawings or my Justice League of America, that kind of stuff. So I want to keep that going. I want to keep that kind of going strong as a way to keep posting content and stuff like that, because I'm trying to be very aware of the way the world is right now. And I don't mean that this is done ink or finished inks, by the way. But I'm not trying to say this in like a doom and gloom sort of way. I'm just trying to think opportunistically of how do we keep the train going. And again, you never know. Like, do a bunch of things because you never know what takes off. If this stuff really starts skyrocketing, which I'm sure it won't, but if it did, then like we're going all in, that kind of stuff, right? So I'm trying to get a lot of fires going and seeing what catches. Okay, so real quick here, I want to show you again, just as an example. You see all the tattered raggedy cloths on the Mind Thief here? This is how it came. Even look at how gross this tail is with all these little spikies on there. Like, it's not, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's not good, but like you want sharp points sometimes. So just, again, draw on white, sharpen it up. It's very quick. It just gives a little bit of bite to it. What do we got here? Jack, welcome. Hello. Stu Man is saying, Jar, I like the way you get into the shadow layers and how you lay down red over blacks to figure out your shadows. I try to use that technique. Oh, cool, man. I'm glad. I actually just started redoing that. I did that during the standard. That was many years ago. And then I would argue here, the scoundrel that we're looking at, I started moving this way towards Jessup King because I wanted to push the color. And when you do it this way, the way I color, you know, like once we get into here, I'll show you the color for the Brute, right? Like if you look at the inks, there's no solid like black, like there's no cast shadow on the shield and stuff. But when we go in here and we add the shadow with colors, it pops, it works with this style, and that's the way Jessup was, right? Since going this way, what was that last thing we did? Let me see. It was something for Patreon. I believe it was for Alex as well. Yeah, the Jessup King we did. Let me bring that up. There's a stream we did of this too, right? So this is the style we're going forward with personally, where it adds... turn all this off. I'll put the line art. I'll take the shadows off, right? Like it's very similar. We're doing the exact same things. And this style of rendering is all I want to do because it's simple and clean and quick. It's not like I would say it my Finch rendering or whatever, right? Where it's this kind of stuff, wherever you're going to go. Like if it's... I don't want to get in here and do this stuff again. Like it looks good. It got too thick. I'm not going to go all the way, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like you can go in there and you can do all this stuff. And I used to do that. I don't like it anymore. To me, it kills it. I'm not a fan of it. I like looking at it. I don't like doing it. But when we add color to this, the shadows are kind of already in here, so it creates this kind of oddity stuff. So I'm still trying to iron that out. So anyway, to go back with what you're saying, the reason why I'm adding that red quick shadow pass in there is because it gives a very quick way to just test before you go in there and you spend some time blocking in shadows and stuff, and you don't want to be doing that. It's just like doing a thumbnail when you start drawing, right? The sooner you figure that out, it's less work you have to do down the road. That's what you want to do. Load Mind Thief. Where are you, Mind Thief? Sorry guys, I'm just getting my reference open here. Chris, welcome, buddy. I recently did this trick and was inking at 600 dpi, but when I reduced the 300 dpi to color it, it jacked the outline up and I couldn't get it back. Really? Could you explain that a little bit more, Chris? I could try to replicate it or try to help you out I've never heard that before. And are you using Clip Studio or are you using Photoshop? So I'm trying to make sure we got like at least the eyeballs in here. For those that don't know, this is what this character is going to look like. So we get these, when we get to the color here, we're going to get these really slick blue, looks like smoke coming off of the eyes. Gotta have the magic. Let me try something. I just want to see. If we erase this. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Looks a little bit more on model. And if you are watching this and you are picking up any of these prints, like I said, if you got like a favorite character out of the starting 6, those will be available. But there'll also be like a combo pack available, so you can get all 6 starters for a discounted price too. And if it's not put up tonight, it'll be put up tomorrow. It's all just depending on when the colors wrap up. I'm hoping today, because the inking goes pretty quick. The most time-consuming part of what's going to happen after this is what's it called? Let me just see something here. I just remembered something. I might let me just make a note. Okay. The most time-consuming part that's going to be coming up is the flats, because these characters have so many little, like, as you can see, trinkets and stuff on them. And they all have like so many different little colors. Okay, cool. So Chris is saying, I was using Clip Studio Paint, had the foreground character with the 14 point outline, 13 for the middle, and 12 for the back. When I reduced the outline, showed it was there but half. When I went back into the property settings and increased it up, like it wasn't there any longer. Let me try something. Let's go 600 dpi. I'm just testing this out myself. I want to see if I can, if I'm getting the same thing or whatnot. Because if it is, I think I might know how to fix it. So we'll say the contour line. I'm just gonna put something disgusting on here. Let's put like, yeah, we'll do 20. This one we'll do like 50, just so we can really see the difference here. Okay, so we've got this, like you're saying, and we're gonna go edit, edit image resolution. Let's go down to 300. See, mine stayed the same. Odd. I don't know. What I was going to suggest is maybe the easiest one is just to save a duplicate, like a renamed file, so you have 2 versions, so you can always go back. And then what I was going to say is just rasterize this, meaning just turn it all on one layer, and then when you shrink it, it'll fix it, because there won't be any blend mode problems. But yeah, I don't know. Mine didn't do that. That's very weird. And is there anybody watching right now? Have you guys played this game? This Gloomhaven game? What is this? That's his thumb. This is here. It's that electric tail, a tail texture there. Stu hasn't. Nope. Chris, just my luck. Overall picture didn't suffer. Okay. Does it still happen, or was this just like a once kind of thing? That's more raggedy fur in there. First time that happened with the outline, but I haven't used it that often. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't keep happening. That'd be the worst. I'd like never use it if that happened all the time. I'm just wondering, maybe you had like a different kind of setting going on or something that was making you do that. Okay. Getting there. It's going quick. Let's get this knife going. Just going to break up some of this sharp point here. We'll be able to draw a lot of this back in when we get to the coloring, but yeah, the bottom part here. We'll see once we get the shadows in on the rats a little bit, or the line weights on them. If still looks a little barren. Okay, this one's almost done. Yeah, let's add some whiskers. I don't. Normally when I draw cats and stuff, I don't put the whiskers on because it always looks so weird. But let's do it for this one. Why not? Almost there. Yeah, I think it's good. Here's a little sort of darken that up a little bit here. All right, am I missing anything? Let's see what we got. It looks like it. I mean, no, those aren't feathers. Looks like wings or something. I think it's good. We'll see, especially once we get into the coloring. Sometimes we miss things, right? All right, so we're going to copy our signature. No point in remaking it. Yeah, I'll put it there. Okay, we'll save that one up, and then we got the last one to ink here. It's the Tinkerer. Let me get my reference here. Tinkerer. There we go. The mouse rat? Thanks. And again, just for total transparency here, because I don't want to come across as like whatever. This is what we're drawing on this one. That last one, the artwork had the rat on the head, so I want to mirror a lot of what's already in the image. So people, like, I'm not redrawing these characters, just drawing them in a different style and trying to adjust them where I can. If I think it might help improve it a little bit. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so for this one, I made a little note here because what I'm thinking is that shoulder over the head's looking a little weird. So if we continue the head with like this armor, I think it might look a little better. We'll see how it looks here. Oh. Yeah, I think that's better. The only reason I'm saying is like if we go this way, it's like it's like somehow the head's behind the shoulder. I don't know how that works. It just puts it in front of it. Yeah, we'll go with that. We have to do some work with the clouds in the background of the smoke. Actually, let's see something here. Yeah, it's better. Just open it up there, give a little bit of room for the chin. It's going pretty quick. Bang this stuff up a little bit here. Get some texture on that. Okay. I figured out the outline issue, and you're an idiot, and you leave it at that. Okay. All right. Well, out of curiosity, share it with the class. Might be somebody watching that has the same issue. It was a layer management issue. Know where your layers are, people. Okay, that's funny. Of all things, just that, eh? Well, at least you figured it out, man. Now, welcome to the land of the contour layer powered people, man. You can manipulate all your drawings now. It's good stuff. Hey, no one, how's it going? All right, so let's try to spice this up, guys. You guys got any questions or stuff you guys want to talk about? Get some dialogue going. It's getting a little quiet in here today. Not sure what else I can talk about on my end. Besides, I guess, some work that's coming down the line. Someone reached out and they want, if you guys remember, we did a Superman traditional picture where he was all beaten up. It was like battle damaged. And he wants to get the rest of the JLA, but it's almost like 5 or 6 images next to each other. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I don't know how I'm going to be able to record that. I got rid of my HD camera when I stopped doing traditional stuff. So I don't know if I'll be able to record it. I wanted to, though, because I know there's still traditional artists out there. And everything's digital most of the time these days. Or at least on this channel, right? So it's always nice when I can kind of spice it up and get some traditional stuff in there. It's gray wash too, so those are always a lot of fun to do. Detailed chippies I see. Oh yeah, that's the way to do it. We got this guy, the Tinkerer. We wrapped up this guy, the Mind Thief, and then the Scoundrel. This one's my favorite one. We're going to be coloring them up in a sec too once this one's done. Stu Man, on your prints, do you hard copy print and then mail them out? Do I hard copy print and then mail them out? What does that mean? I got my prints done at Staples. So I usually put an order in and I get a whole bunch of prints. And then I get them and then sign them and then put them in mailers and send them out. Chris, what's funny is I was actually going to attempt coloring with Francis Manipal's method, but completely went a different direction. Oh, yeah? Digital? Or were you doing traditional watercolor? Or are you trying to color a different way that I'm not aware of? I mean, you don't digitally send... Oh, no, yeah. So my prints are... they're all print, like, legit prints here. Here, I'll show you in a sec. Okay, let's go here. Okay. One sec. Okay. So here's a good big chunk of them here. Alright. I still got some of these left too. I don't know if you guys remember any of these. The Sketchbook Reds. I think they're on the Etsy store. I don't know. Just a bunch of... this is actually, honestly, pretty much like making a mini comic. You just get them here. You got like that spine on there. These are really fun to make. I'd like to make some more mini comics like this. Initially, that's what I was going to do instead of going the crowdfunding route. But yeah, so let me just here. I'll take a couple of them out. So it's like you hear it. So they're on some solid stuff, but yeah, right. Get your Broly. Whatever's on the Etsy store, they're here, right? You got your Friday the 13th there. I actually have to go through these today too. That's a lot of Broly. To catch up on certain prints. We got Majin Buu there. Yeah, so they're all in here. That's all there. These ones are all these chibi ones. These ones are all 8.5 by 11. I do have a few 11 by 17 ones like the Ninja Turtles and all that, but those ones don't really sell. I'm not sure why. It's interesting. A lot of chibi stuff sells, and I think if I had to just sort of guess, it's the whole cartoon thing. Cartoons sell, like Disney, Mickey Mouse, for whatever reason, is Mickey Mouse. Why people like him, I don't know. But cartoons, it doesn't matter what age you are, cartoons are always accessible. Even if you're one of those, a manly's man, and you don't watch stupid cartoons, right? And that's fine. But it's easily recognizable. So like a chibi, I mean, this is pushed, but some people like the cute stuff. A lot of people like the cute stuff. Mostly women, but I've definitely mailed a bunch of like Spider-Man prints and stuff like that. Chibi Spider-Man prints to men and stuff. But if you're a lady in here, I don't mean to come across as crude or anything, but when you can separate women and their money, then you know you hit jackpot. I forget where I had heard that. It was in advertising in high school. My dad actually had a pretty good thing he was saying. He used to be a manager at the Brick. If you don't know what that is, it's like a furniture store. And what they would do is I guess he was saying, and this is just coming from him. I'm just assuming it's true because it's my dad. So take that for what it's worth. But he would say most of the time couples and or women would come in, and it was because the woman wanted to buy something, whether it was like a fridge or a couch or something, right? A bed. That the trick was to try to separate the man from the woman and try to get him to leave with something, right? So we'll say like a TV or a stereo. And what you do is you kind of plant that seed. And then I just remember him saying this one thing. It was like, so towards the end, when you're trying to really get the guy to buy the TV, like he's not there for a TV, but how do you get him to leave with one? And you try to manipulate him, I guess, in a way. And this is the part I don't like in advertising and all that, because it is all manipulation. But it works most often. Even if it works a little bit, the fact that it does work, it's worth trying. But you try to convince him that, like, well, if she's getting something, you deserve something too. We got this awesome sale going on right now on these big screen TV. That kind of crap, right? It's just funny. But anyway, when I was working at the game studio, it's like the number one market for like match 3 games on your phone and stuff like that is women. And it's nothing against women or anything like that. It's just that's sort of your market. So the cute stuff, a lot of it goes towards the ladies. They like this stuff. So what you could kind of do, right? And this is what you do at conventions. So if you're at conventions and you see people doing this, it's not, I don't want to say it's so greasy that it's whatever, but it's like you see a couple come up, and if a lady buys your spider or your, this guy, this print here, let's say, you can look at the guy like, oh, you interested in anything too? We could, get 2 or 3 of these in a bundle if there's something you like too. Give you a little deal. Usually the dudes will say, no, I'm good. You're like, I got like this really sick looking Batman over here. Jason Voorhees. You know what I mean? Like you start to get like the more masculine um, characters, and then you might be able to get an extra little sale. Why are we talking about this again? Uh, Chris, digital color. He showed how he uses layer masks to do colors. One blue layer, one shadow, multiply layer, and one yellow screen. Oh yeah. That's yeah, dude. That's pretty much how. What's it called? Here, I'll show you. I've done that. I've done that too. I mean, if you've already seen it, I guess there's no real point. Did I do it on this one? No, that's just a shadow. Okay, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's actually on this one. Here, I'll show you. Turn all this off. Yeah, you always multiply on like a blue. Blue looks more appropriate for like I would say modern comics. A lot of people use like a pink and purple. That's what that is. And then the highlight layer is right here. It's just a screen. It's like a greenish yellow. That's it. It's a very easy way to knock in some color. Uh, no comics. I've never put anything on Etsy. Would you recommend it? I have a couple of chibis on. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I tried Etsy is because I was looking for online store solutions, and everything I was finding you got to pay for, like a monthly fee, and I just couldn't. I think like Store Envy was another one, and I just couldn't justify spending a monthly fee to have a store unless I was moving product, right? So let's say it's a $10 monthly fee. Unless I'm moving like $20 a month, to me, there's no point in doing it. So I was like, all right, well, let's check around, look at Etsy. The only thing I don't like about Etsy is it's when you go there, it feels like Etsy. It doesn't feel like it's your own store. Like it feels like you're shopping on Etsy, but at the same time, that also brings in some of Etsy's brand into what you're doing, right? So I think it's 20 cents just to make a post, and then when you sell something, they take a cut. I don't remember what that cut is, but the listing auto renews. So usually what I'll do is I'll put like a chibi print up, and then I'll put like I have 999 in stock. That way I don't get hit with a 20-cent fee again when I need to relist it. And if anybody orders something that I have that's out of stock, usually that day I'll put in an order at Staples, and it's usually ready within the next day. And then I'll go pick it up and mail it out that day, kind of thing. So it works really well for what I'm doing. And if we're just talking, straight talk here with fellow artists, prints are relatively cheap. So I sell mine for like I think $10 to $15 or something like that. So I think on each sale of a print I make, I don't know, $10 around there, which is really good margins. The thing is, I think you like online, you got to really push this stuff. You got to work to make money, right? You gotta make people want to buy stuff. So that's another reason why I want to try doing this stuff a little bit more, right? Like it's a way to convert people. It's no different. You're just trying to figure out a way to get some money in your pockets as an artist. It's tough. So conventions, I think, are a really good way of doing it, just because the sheer volume of people, and people are going there because they have money in their pockets, and they don't like getting rid of it, but they got it usually. And if I know we're getting into like a different conversation here, but if you get, I forget what it's called, Stripe, I think it is, you can turn your cell phone into ATM or a credit card machine, which is huge. There's been so many sales that I've missed out on because I didn't have that, and then when I did have it, it was wonderful, man. It was just like people would be like, because the excuse you'll hear all the time at a convention is like, I just don't have the money. I did have the money, but now it's I wish I came to your booth first. When you say, oh, it's okay. If you have a credit card, I take that. It's becoming more and more normal now too. people not only they might only have a 20 on them, but then when you start roping them in a little bit to go in like, well, I'll throw in like 2 extra prints for an extra $5 or something, we'll say. And then they might go to their credit card to, I don't know, like it sounds greasy, but I try to justify it myself as like, you're just a business, right? As an artist, you're trying to make money. I think a lot of us go into it and you don't want to be like the sleazeball. But prints are one of those things that are very cheap to make with a very high profit margin. So I highly recommend doing something to get into prints in some way, right? Like I would argue what I'm doing here is like kind of selling out a little bit. The cute chibi stuff, everybody kind of does them. But on the same vein, or in the same vein, I'm a very big believer in like the market decides what you want. So if I'm making this stuff and nobody wants it, the my market anyway is saying we don't want it. So there's no point in to keep making it. Keep looking and keep making new things and see what people want. And then if something, like I said earlier, if it strikes, if it starts catching on or whatever, go as deep as you can with that. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if I answered it, but I would recommend. Yeah, I don't mind Etsy. I think so far it's great. If I start moving like insane numbers, then maybe I would start looking into some, like my own thing. But currently, I don't. Sorry. So currently, yes, I would recommend it if you haven't started yet. Chris is saying don't have a lot of luck selling online yet. My sales come from my comic shows. No, that's cool too. Everything takes work, right? Like to be fair, I've got like I'm almost at 16K subscribers, which is great, but the view count on my videos is very low. But there are a few people that get in there. But the fact that I'm still putting stuff out there, definitely helps. And if you're going, like, here's the thing: you make an Instagram post, we'll say, right, with some hashtags, right? Like me, I'll be putting Gloomhaven, a lot of things like that. This is a market here, like this board game stuff. It's on the rise. It's huge, right? So there's a lot of people playing this, and this is a very popular game. And there's some fan art that's out there, but there's not a lot. So that means there's potential to have a lot of money made. But my belief is never go into it for the money. Go into it because you like it. You enjoy doing it. And if there's money in there, then you're doing good. Like, don't sell yourself to make money. Do what you enjoy so much that you can sleep at night and then keep going into it. Like if you don't have, I wouldn't say a moral compass necessarily, but if you're just going in it for the money, there is money to be made for sure, but you might start drifting and doing things that you might not normally do just because it's money. And that's kind of scary. I don't like going that route. Stu, Jared, you only sell chibis on Etsy? No, I have some other stuff. I'll show you guys. I want to put some other things on there. Here, let me just show you guys here. So if you go to jonathanrector.com, it's the easiest way I know how to get there. Right up here, there's a shopping basket. You can go there, or you can go etsy.com/JonathanRector shop. Yeah, so you see, those are all the chibis here. These are like the non Gloomhaven chibis, or not Gloomhaven, sorry. The non chibi prints, and you can see I lowered them a little cheaper because nobody's really buying them at all. But all the chibi stuff I'm moving. I'm not quite sure why that is, other than what I was saying before. Some of these things, like check this out here. This is just an example. Okay, we'll do some real talk here. So, Cyclops print. Okay, okay, we'll start at the bottom here. Okay. This one has sold. This one has sold. Everything is sold so far. Nuka Girl hasn't sold. This was a commission that I just turned into a print. That hasn't sold. Everything else is sold. Barry Sanders hasn't sold, but that was a commission. All of these have sold. All of these have sold except this gray wash. This is a different kind of thing. Probably shouldn't even be on here, to be honest. Carey Price. This is, again, my dad works with people that like hockey, and these are kind of like gifts. But I put them up there because, it's digital file that's already done. I can just print more. Somebody might like that character, right? I've done other hockey characters for people because they've seen this. Everything else is sold except these. Maybe Broly and Boo. Maybe I sold one or two. Maybe, right? And this is what I wanted to show you, right? Like they're sell for 15 a pop, so they're not cheap at all. Like 15 is a lot. And I'd say if I went to a convention, I'd probably sell them for about $10 each. And the reason I do 15 is because it's online. I might even lower, like I offer sales and coupons and stuff all the time. Anyway, I know I'm going into something else, but this is what I wanted to show. This Venom print is 11 by 17. These are 8.5 by 11. So this is a much bigger print, and it's kind of like my modern style. Maybe it doesn't look that great. Maybe that's why it doesn't do as well. But it's cheaper, and you're getting more, right? But it doesn't sell as much as a chibi does. And then the other option I have here is this one right here. It's the Pro Edition for 40, where I include like an actual legit sketch. And still, so what this is telling me, at least, is the market or whoever, whether it's you guys or other people that are stumbling on this, they're not interested in that. They're just interested in this cute stuff. So that's all I'm doing is this cute stuff because it's what sells. Does that make sense? That's kind of like what I'm talking about. It's kind of working. So I'm just going to keep making it work as much as I can. 90 Cyclops, yeah, this is the best Cyclops. I try to make my own suit too. It's similar, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I enjoy doing it too. I'm not just doing it because it makes cash, right? But like it's fun. This was the first one we did. I think was Captain America. Yeah, so it's good. See, like some other people, they got some commissions from me and stuff like that with all that. That's the other thing with Etsy that I would argue is kind of cool is when you go on here. What the hell's that? Hold on, I might need to change that picture. I don't know why that one's there, but it sort of builds in like this shop review kind of stuff, right? So as more and more people shop there, right? Like you come on here and it might say, "Oh, cool, 5 stars." It doesn't mean that I'm like a high quality guy. It just means that I'm hoping that if you spend this, there's not going to be any friction. It's this person's done this a few times, right? Like that's a testament, I would argue, to quality. That's what you're really worried about, and Etsy kind of bakes all that in. So that's a good deal. I would argue that's good. No one comics. I'm on Fiverr, but they take. But the cut they take is insane. I'm getting a little tired of it. I've heard of Fiverr. I've never really looked too much into it. Chris is saying $10 is too cheap. 20 has people maybe buying one. Excuse me. Yeah, no, trust me, man. And here's something else to think about too, guys. When you guys go to shows, let's say a print is $10. That's what you charge at every show. You'd be surprised. Some shows you could send 30, 20, 5, and you'll make a lot of money. A lot of shows, it's different per show what you should be charging. You go to like New York Comic Con, you could probably sell prints for a reasonably higher price. You go to like a small local show, I found if I go down to like $5, I'm getting things, because a lot of local shows that I've attended here in Windsor anyway, it's like people are just coming because it's something to do to get out of the house with their kids. That's not the same people going to San Diego. You're going to San Diego or New York Comic Con. You're not going there just because you got nothing else to do that weekend. You're going there because you love that stuff, right? So those cats, you can start charging a lot more. And then if you're doing a small local show, yeah, like for me, it's like, okay, I'm charging. Excuse me, I'm going with like even $5 a print. I'm still making profit off that, right? Because the main goal for any show you want to do is. Maybe not. There's two main goals I've always found, and I know we're talking about a whole bunch of different things here. One is to always, if you make back your table costs, then that's a huge boon. If you make, you're introducing yourself to a whole lot of new people. And you don't know how well, maybe you do. That's very powerful and strong. And I would argue that's probably more important than selling a whole bunch. So something you could do is, let's say you make 100 prints of that Cyclops or something, right? And you stand by the front door, or anybody that comes by your booth, and you either just give them away, or you say they're $1. It's almost like throwaway art, But some of those people, they take that stuff back and they'll follow your artwork or they'll follow you on Instagram if you make it more of like a marketing thing. That's just powerful, right? Like you just kind of have to gauge, what are you selling? Are you marketing what you do and what you can do and all that stuff? Or are you just going, I just want to make bank. I just want to make money, 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 money. So it's your call. We're getting into the coloring now here, guys. No one comics totally understand, man. Like I can come home and tell my wife I have no money to pay the rent because I'm drawing mice killing themselves. That's what your comic is about. No, it's all good. Hey Johnny, how you doing, brother? Feeling better today? Chris, this is my side hustle. I have a great day job. I just love drawing and have to justify all the money I spend on my hobby and my wife. To my wife, yeah, that's that's pretty much on point. Chris, you leaving? No problem, brother. Oh, an interview. Good luck. Back to real work, eh? Okay, so let's get into some coloring. Now I'm just going to open up the Brute. Should I open up? Actually, you know what? Let's do the Craighart. I'm not really fond of the Craighart, just his face. But it's just the model of him or whatever. But what I want to do is I'm going to turn off the effects layer. I just want to see the color, the raw color. Because what this does is this lets me see sort of like what my shadow colors were and all that. And something like this. So the line art, I actually changed the color. So we're going with like a dark purple. So I'm just going to go through here. I'm just going to quickly add that to all of these dudes. 1 second. And this is important when you're doing like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't normally draw this way anymore, like I was saying earlier. So when you go back to kind of ebb and flow between styles, it's very important to go back and make sure all your stuff is in sync with each other. So when I put this next to another one, it looks like it all fits and it was all made by the same person. It wasn't just all of a sudden you've leveled up in a lot of art skills and it's just a huge leap. Not a fan of that. Hey Euro, how's it going, brother? Okay, what are we doing? Yes, Craighart. Alright, so we had the shadow. And yeah, I'm not sure how we were pulling these colors before, to be honest with you. I think we were just color sampling from what we saw. A little dangerous. Let me get my, scoundrel up. Alright. So, let me bring it on screen so you guys can kind of see. This is super saturated. So we're going to push some of these back. Some of these colors anyway. But we can start with, obviously there's a lot of green and like a lot of warm colors. So it might not be like, maybe not going over here, but you can actually go this way with it. A little greenish yellow. And we're going to desaturate it. Cause she's got some like neon colored eyes there. So let's start with that. Let's just start filling in, get our shape in here. This is actually how I've been doing this lately. I'll show you. So just fill it in like that. And then I grab this tool and we fill it in like that. Super fast way to get some flats done. Okay, and then we just need to go back in here and clean up the hair. Where are we at here? Color flats. Just tighten that up. And usually what I'm doing here isn't so big or so bad of an issue. But since I went back and redrew over these lines, right, to open them up a little bit like this, that's why that had happened. Why all this color was gone. So let's go ahead and fill that back in. Whoops. I missed one right here. Right. Now we're just going to go in here real quick and just kind of tighten up some of this stuff here. Cool. And that's it. So now we're ready to rock. Now feeling better? Still don't want to talk about it? That's all good, man. Hi. How you doing? Uh, there's that marketing brain. Yeah, I know. It's the worst. Nobody likes talking about the marketing brain. Or maybe people do. I don't know. How much do you guys think about it? Okay, she looks a little tanned, so I'm going to kind of bring that in like that. A lot of these colors we will probably adjust as we go. But all I'm worrying about is just getting in like the flats. I don't like flats. They're really boring. They're important. But the flats that I do, you don't need them to like do color holds or anything. Like the traditional, I would say traditional tutorials that you'd follow, but like how to color comics, where you go in there and you get a lasso and all that like that. I think that's, I don't want to say it's stupid, because it's not. Do what you got to do, but I think it's a giant waste of time. Especially if you're using Clip Studio, you can go so fast. And like I said too, when this stuff gets printed, all those things get fixed. The only time you see a lot of that stuff is when you're zoomed in like 300%. And then if you're zoomed in that far, I would argue you're just wasting your time. I might have to go a little darker with this. Prakash, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. My brother just bought this game. Supposed to be like D&D, but no DM is required. I know the PC version is coming out soon. Yeah, no, yeah, like I'd love to talk about Gloomhaven if anybody's got questions or anything like that. Yeah, totally. I've heard it compared to D&D in a box. I think that's like the selling point. That's what a lot of things say. I don't know if I'd say D&D. It feels more like a tactical card management game. It's very slow, very grindy, which is one of the reasons why, like, I stopped playing it for a while. Just to be candid with you guys, not that anybody really cares, but there's another board game called Descent. I think I like that one more, just because it's a little bit more streamlined, and how you upgrade yourself and stuff in that game. It feels a little bit more like playing a World of Warcraft Diablo kind of game. You pick a class and then you can level up that class, getting new skills, things like that. It feels more like skill trees and all that. Gloomhaven's a little bit more. You get a character, you open it up, and it has cards. And as you level up, you can introduce new cards to your deck by replacing other cards. It's very flexible and stuff, but the gameplay mechanic of playing multiple cards is like the main draw of that game, and it's actually really well done. I played a lot of this game, and once we got back into the chibis and stuff, and there's a sequel coming out on Kickstarter, Frosthaven. Kind of got the itch to play again, so I actually got it all set up. Actually, check this out. You guys want to see some nerd stuff? I'll show you some nerd stuff. Let me finish this. So obviously you got the baby, and you can't always set up a game. The setup is quite beastly, but you can get systems and like buy a couple things for super cheap to organize it, like Plano boxes and stuff. But check this out. Check this out. This is the nerd version here, extra nerd version. Okay, so right here actually, I have a tabletop simulator. That's what I was saying. So sometimes I can't play the cardboard version. So what I'll do is I'll just use these. These are like photo cases. I love how it's like right here too, right? These are photo cases for photographs. But if you can kind of see on the back, it's got all the character stuff I need. So I'm running a 3-character party right now. Right, so you got all 3 different characters. It's all in here, their character sheet. So I can just open this right at my table, load up Tabletop Simulator, and play. And then track all the XP and the cards and leveling up that way. Or I can just take this and, hopefully tonight I'll be able to play again the actual cardboard version. But it's just super quick, just to grab that. And then there's like apps and stuff you can get to play it. It's all pretty quick. But again, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it D&D. D&D is a little, it's different, but it's a dungeon crawler in a box, right? It's a good one. It's a good one. There's some things I wish were a little better, like the story would be nice if the story was a little better. But the artwork is phenomenal. The presentation, I think, is great. For what you pay, you get a lot of content in that box. Euro's heard a lot of good things about Gloomhaven. The PC version you get on Steam right now, it's in beta. It's pretty good. It looks good, but I think there's something magical about playing. Maybe not magical, but it's a board game that when you play it, this is I think what maybe a lot of the mix up perhaps is that at least for me when I was playing it, it feels more like a board game video game. It doesn't feel like a video or a board game. It's got all the pieces of a board game, but it feel like it plays like a board game with like leveling up, unlocking new things. There's a lot of unlocks. Like as you do things in the game, there's things in there that you can't open unless you do certain things in the game. So there's characters that you can't play as, but you'll get all these cool pieces of cardboard and everything's hidden. So there's a lot of unlockable stuff and it feels very video gamey. And I really enjoy that. And if you enjoy like that, I almost call it like the Pokemon kind of thing, right? Where there's a whole bunch of things. It's like imagine you're playing and you open the box and you get a whole bunch of stuff, but then like well, I'll just throw a number there. 50% of it is you can't open this until you do something in the game. That's really cool. And then as you're playing more and more, you do certain things. Things keep getting added to your game. That's the magic of it. To me, it was anyway. It's part of the charm. Part of the charm of the game. Yeah, we'll go in here with that. We need more friends. Most of my friends don't play trading card games. You just play Magic or Eternal. Magic's a great game. Yeah, played a lot of that. Descent is cool. We started with it and just got pulled in by D&D. Now we're just using the Descent minis. Yeah, dude. I've got a fish tackle box down there. I've got everything for Descent except the lieutenants. I spent a lot of money on that. Great game though. Great game. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of just little things here that we're doing because there's just it's like little color tweaks, and this is a little challenging because the original artist that did this painted these, so you're going to get like color hues and color shifting and stuff. So trying to figure out a way to kind of get the same colors in here, but not go rainbow mode and make everything like using so much saturation and stuff like that. So just bear with me. This part takes a little bit of time. There's nothing you could really do about it, or at least that I've come up with. You just kind of got to get in there and just figure it out. And right now, I'm just trying to see in the design all the same kind of color areas, and then we can go in there and address some of it later. So got that. I think we'll use like a darker brown for this up here. This is kind of weird. So this leg is like this color, and then let's bring it back to the green a little bit. Leave it gray. Oops. But practice, yeah. If you can remember, come back. Let me know what you think of the game. Once you get a chance to play it. I hope you get a chance to play it. I remember I brought this to my brothers once, and it was with 3 other dudes. I don't think any of them play board games, which is fine. Um, and I think it was like too heavy for them. Like a lot of rules, and I think my brother had music playing and stuff too, right? Like it was just more of a casual like get together, which I don't think this game does well with, unless you're familiar with the game. There's just too many tactics and stuff. I still remember one of the guys we were playing with. He played a character called the Spellweaver, which is this character here. Which on the outset you look is a mage, and in a lot of ways they are. But she's got, I think, the lowest health in the game. But she has a card that can bring all your health in this game is your cards, like your hand. So the more cards you burn through, like that remove from the game, the shorter you can play, and you'll just die. But she has one card where she can bring all those cards that you've already burned and bring them back to your hand at the cost of burning that one. So it's almost like she gets double health once, and I try to explain to them, and I mean, there's so many rules that I'll make myself the bad guy on this one and say I forgot it, which is fine. Maybe I wasn't clear enough with explaining something. So we were playing, and I mean, he was doing the fancy stuff. Let's just start nuking dudes and just, you know what I mean? Get the big swinging, you know what, thrown around, and just start melt facing people. And what ended up happening was he died first, sadly, and then he had to just sit out while everybody else was playing. And I have to imagine that left a super sour taste in his mouth, like because he missed that one thing that I had said, or maybe it was my fault that I wasn't clear on something, that he had to just sit there, and it was just like, oh, this is a cool game. Are you guys having fun? I'm just watching you guys play, and that sucks. But because of that, I don't think a lot of the people enjoyed it, because I remember explaining it, and I remember playing the game the first time. I was just like, I got destroyed. I went in there, I was like, okay, I got my character. This is my favorite character out of the starting ones, the brute. He looks like a warrior, right? To me, he does. Anyway, he's got the sword and shield. You go in there, tank and spank. So I go in there, and it was just a generic soldier in the very first round, in the first campaign mission, and they had like shields, and I believe they get retaliate too or something, and it was just like, this guy got nuked, and your health is not the same. Like I'm used to Descent, like I was saying before, where you just go in there and you can heal and all that, and healing is not, it's not really a thing in this game. It's in it, but the idea is mostly about like damage mitigation and stuff. So instead of getting hit, how do you not get hit? Placement, move, that kind of thing. So I tried to explain that to them the second time. I don't think they wanted to play another time. I don't blame them. But what sucks is I remember, I know playing this on my own, I had the same sort of feeling where I was like, okay, yeah, all right, now I understand. And that's why I like to play solo games, because I'm not relying on other people to enjoy the game. I can just take my own time and sort of like, okay, learn it. And when I'd done that, it was like, okay, the second time I played it differently, and it was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to understand what's going on here. And then the more I was playing, I was like, oh, okay, this is good. This is crunchy. And sadly, I don't think I was able to show that to those guys. And like I said, I don't think they're board game guys, so I don't think they would have wanted to play it again anyway after that night. And the only reason I'm saying all that is if you're a board game dude or chick or whatever, so you kind of know what you're getting into, you might really dig the game. Oh, by the way, have you seen the Frosthaven game on Kickstarter? I have 10 days left, and they're at 8.3 million. Yeah, man, lots of stretch goal cookies. Yeah, it's this game's it's making that kind of money for a reason. And again, I argue, I would say it's heavy. There's a lot in here, but it's a deep game. You don't just get into it and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna play it once a month at best. Maybe I'll play a couple games once. And then, if you're in the hobby at all, there's plenty of games I've picked up where it's like you play a couple times, and then it's like, okay, it's just gonna sit on my shelf now, and I'll wait for people to play. But that never happens in my life. Nobody wants to play them. Nobody wants to play these games. So I'm just stuck with like these things. So that's why I go to all the solo games, because then I can just play it by myself. But Gloomhaven in particular was or is one of those ones where I know I can pick up and play and enjoy it. Same with Descent. I can get in there and just sink some time, you know. And one of the cool things I'll say too. Hey Rachel, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. I don't know. You've missed some inking. Me probably rambling like usual. And what else? What else? I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of stuff though. But welcome. One of the cool things about this game is you can all the stuff you're doing in there, like unlocking stuff and all that, is the game kind of remembers all that stuff. So when you come back, there's I think they're called Legacy. I believe that's the genre style that it's called. So you come back and like when your characters retire, they do stuff on the world. So you start telling a different story with just your characters and things. So it's cool. It's not like you just play and then you come back and boot it back up and it's a same but different kind of game. Or like I guess a way to look at it would be like and I hate using Monopoly in this term, but you know Monopoly, you play it and then when you're done, that you just played Monopoly. And the next time you play, you played Monopoly. It's not like that at all. It's more like you play Monopoly, and the next time you play, it remembers all those hotels and stuff that you have, and you get to keep building up your empire. If that makes sense. It's more like that. What do I got here? It's like this, such a weird design. That's a problem. You're doing these chibis, and like I'm getting into like a lot of little detail here with all these colors, and they can start to mesh a little bit. I think we'll go like that. I've played my Hellboy board game 4 times. 3 of them were the same mission with different people. So yeah, it looks nice on the shelf. Yeah. That's exactly it. I can't stand. That's one of the things I absolutely hate about the hobby. I got out of it for, like I said, a couple months ago. I'm done. But I'm getting into the artwork. There's certain games like this kind, like Gloomhaven and Descent, where it's like those are games I enjoy because you can play as much as you want, and it's always rewarding. It's not like at least to me, it doesn't feel like those other games where it's like maybe I'll play it with people one day. I can't do that. I think it's such a waste. For me, it's a waste of money. All right, we're gonna try getting some of this neon green in here. I don't know how this is gonna work because I know a lot of this is gonna be in like I'll call it post production when we get in here with the special effects. But I'm just gonna get it kind of going. She's got that, and then her eyes are like this neon green too. Yeah, something like that. I think there's let's get some. I think she has some red here too. Is there any other red in here? Rachel, how long are you going to be on here? I'm going to be on here for little less than an hour. My work day's done at 4:30 and it's 3:20 right now. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to. I'm looking at the time, and I mean we're just still doing flats, and my goal was to have this done today. So sadly, I really don't think that's going to happen. So maybe we'll wrap up tomorrow because I want these on the store to buy ASAP. All right, so we got a sack of money here. Let's might be able to use that color. I don't know. We'll see. That's the trick, man. Is like reusing colors here to try to mimic what's going on. All right, so we got some gold here. I'm gonna bring it over a little bit more. Just desaturate the coins, maybe. Maybe. I don't know how I feel about that. We'll keep this going. Hey, Lawrence, welcome. Howdy. Do you have a Jessup King Universe poster? I do not, and I should. How disgraceful is that? I want to have Godslayer stuff for sure. The only thing I think I have, like, I was considering, because they're 8.5 by 11, getting the covers printed. Especially, I show this one all the time because it's one of my favorite pieces, man. Like, this is the best part about doing digital prints. I could put prints available for sale even though I don't have any printed. And that's just a little tip for you guys. I meant to say that. I hope the person that asked about Etsy earlier is still here. One of the things I wanted to try with the Etsy shop is, so I can make, like, let's say 10 prints and just post them on Etsy, but I don't actually have the physical copies. And what's cool about that is that means I don't have to buy and have an inventory of stock, right? I can just, if somebody buys it, then I can go, okay, I'm going to use that person's money. Let's say you made $10 on that print and go, okay, maybe I'll choose to take $5 of that or the whole $10 and then get them all printed. You lose on that first sale, but now you have inventory. So what it does is you never go into it in the negative. You always have something, like you have the order before you get the print. And what's great about that is, again, you're not burning cash to keep an inventory in stock. And I think you can do that without the Etsy thing. I'm just saying, I meant to bring that up before. So this, what I'm saying here is, what I probably should do is just and it costs me nothing. I'll actually do this. Let me make a little note here. I'm gonna do this after the stream. Make issue 2 cover of Jessup print. Okay, so you guys will see this print within the next, maybe today or the next couple of days. Thank you for bringing that up. But it's I'm gonna do this one because there's issue 1, and I don't mind it. I think you guys let me know if you guys would be interested in a print of issue 1. It would be this without, like, the logo, and I think it's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It would look more like colors. It would look like. No, turn all that off. It would look like this, and I don't think there's anything wrong. I think it's like in a moment. Maybe put them both up. Who knows? It doesn't cost. It cost me 20 cents to make a listing, so it doesn't. I'm not out anything. But I think this. I put this on my wall. Oops. Just because there's like some action going on. You know what I mean? If we go turn that off like that. That looks like a print. That looks like a cool cover to me. Maybe the logo. You think? You guys think? Put the logo on there? Like, do you just do the full cover? I don't know. But yeah, so I'll put these up there. I don't know if anybody's even interested in them. I know you're just kind of bringing it up, but what the hell? It cost me 20 cents. Let's do it. Thank you for the idea, my man. Appreciate it, Lawrence. Rachel, we have a few places around town where you can go and play games with people, sort of like an arcade for epic board games. Oh, wow, that sounds really cool. I've never had the time or bravery to go and play. I just got off work, so I'm going to get cleaned up. Yeah, no problem. No problem. It sounds pretty interesting, though, eh? I hear you about the bravery part. There's a couple places. Well, there's two places in town that do board games. I mean, not now, but and they have like board game nights and stuff. For me, with this hobby though, like I know it sounds whatever, but I don't like playing with people with board with board games. I found that out about myself. There's a couple friends' houses I'd go to, and I mean sometimes it was enjoyable, but and I know this maybe well yeah, board games are meant to be social, right? At least that's what I hear all the time. But playing like we'll say Descent or Gloomhaven, like it's shown me that you don't have to, and not having to wait for people to take their turns and all that kind of thing. That's good stuff. I can level grind on my own, that kind of thing. The socializing aspect. I mean, this just goes into like the artist side of me, where it's like I don't want to hang out with people because there's a couple games we were playing where it was like you had to level up, so that means you have to play for a little bit. Leveling up means you're gonna be spending some time with people. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You're gonna spend some time with them, uh, and you guys are gonna level up your characters and all that cool stuff, get new abilities, talk strat and stuff. But the moment that group starts watching TV or like I don't know, one of the things that just drives me up a wall is like when it's your turn and you're doing your thing, and then you're waiting for two or three other people to do something, but they're just talking about whatever. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're just not as interested in the game as you are, and that's where it's like, man, that's where I kind of go, and that's more on me. That's not their fault. Here, buddy, want to come on up here, or you want to stay here? Want to stay here? Yeah, okay. I gotta finish drawing this, buddy. We're almost done. Here, okay. You're going under. Watch out, duck, Jojo, duck. I don't want you to get your head crushed. There you go. Anyway, okay. Let's get like a little gray. I'm trying to desaturate the background a little bit here, just so it's your eyes are kind of. Whoops, your eyes. Yeah, let's just do that. Your eyes keep the focus on the character. All right, so it's something like that. Yeah, I think we work with this, and we're gonna need something in the background. Maybe I always get the Asian feel with this character. I don't know why, but let's get a. I'll just pick a color. I'm just gonna pick blue. We'll most likely change this, and I'm just gonna put like a. What do we do in the background? Did I put anything for these guys? Okay, never mind. I was gonna put like a circle or something, but I guess we didn't. So it would just be something like that. Hey, Jojo. Rachel saying I like the what is it? Logog? What's that? Jojo kitty cat. Okay. Let's go on over to the Mind Thief. Get your cat hair, buddy. Mind Thief, and let me just grab the reference here. Mind Thief. So this is the color that I'll be riffing off of in the design. Okay. Just so we get an idea. A lot of dark grays and blues and purples. Just gotta be careful. He almost looks grayish. Gray. So blue, purple. So maybe we'll go in here for him. As a DM, I hate it when my players are checking up Instagram or discuss some bullshit like what happened at work that day. I don't care. Tell me later. Showtime. See, you and I, my man, we would play. We'd play real well together. But that's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff I can't hate. Or that's the stuff I do hate, sorry. And I think some people, like, it's their social outing, right? Is doing that stuff. I just, I'm there to play a game. That's the fun I would get. And I feel like we're probably the few that don't do well with board games. That's what I recommend, man. There's a lot of board games that you can solo. You don't got to worry about that. Let's make sure we got all our flats where we need them. Okay, so we go here. What I don't like about this design for this guy is there's a lot of colors that are the same. Like the raggedy, I don't think it's part of their skin. It looks like the outfit he's wearing is like the same color as his skin. So we're going to just fudge that up a bit. Hey, Jojo. See you, Johnny. Sorry you don't feel so good and you don't want to talk about it, brother, but I hope it gets better for you. Here, you want to come over here? Come on. There you go, buddy. I'll pet you while you're under here, okay? Watch your head. Yeah, that reads better. Here, you want to come here? I'll open here. Come on. Go here, I'll open this up, okay? So you can see out the window. There you go. Oh, careful, Jesus. There. Random question. No, I haven't tried animating in Clip. It seems like it's supposed to be pretty easy. But I have not. Have you? So he's got this magic that he's clearly using for his mind control on his hands. But we're just going to adjust these a little bit as we go. Some cool glows on these guys. Dennis, welcome, man. Share your knowledge. Okay, let's, whoops. yellow. Lurking is it's all good. So many lurkers, man. Oh. Welcome back. Welcome back. Eric, look at all these lurkers, man. So many lurkers, my goodness. Rachel's trying a number of new things this year, trying to learn a bunch of new things. Good for you. It's good stuff. Art-wise, you're talking about, or you just mean in general? I think this one's actually going to go a lot quicker than the Scoundrel. Just because there's so much of the same color. Okay, what color are these? These are like a purplish pink. So go here. So I was kind of rushing to try to get all these done tonight, but I think it might have worked out a little bit of a blessing here. It'll give me a day to come back at this, make sure all the colors are working. And something else too, I'll show you guys with like the other ones, is try to use a lot of desaturated colors. Like you see this, like they're those like mediocre kind of colors, but once we add the effects, it gets real saturated. Arguably too much, but so I'm always trying to keep that in mind. Like even with the Scoundrel there, you want to make sure everything's has room to be pushed. It's something we're trying to get better at. Alright, let's get the mouth here. So like, this would be something that I would have done before. So the mouth I would have gone right to a red, but I'm just moving towards red to sort of. I know like it looks a little darker, so if we kind of keep going up, it'll kind of start feeling a little bit like red, without it being red. And then the teeth would be like a yellow. So I'm not even gonna go to yellow. I'm gonna go to like red, and it's still desaturated kind of. We'll see how that looks. So you see, it kind of starts to feel more orangish and red. That's what we want to do. That's what I'm trying to do a lot more with the coloring that I'm doing. Just trying to take all the advice and tutorials I've watched and actually apply it. I think we might be able to go a little bit more gray with it, make it feel more sharp. Yeah, it looks a little better. Rachel's trying to work on consistency. That's a hard one. Portraits. That's also a hard one. A bark. Okay, so you've got a full chain of difficult things to learn. Good luck. I also want to compete in a short story comp by the end of the year, but it doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. Sounds like you're booked. How short of a comic are you talking? Eric, they're looking pretty cute so far. Good, man. That means you're doing it right. Okay, so this dagger is actually weird. It's more dark than anything because it's going to have some blue energy around it. So I might just pull the same color of the rats. So we're still using the same colors anyway. So we're not pulling in new colors all the time. Grant you all your color theories. I'm definitely not the color theory guy to go to, but if I can help you out, I will. Okay. Alright, now all the color in this guy comes from. We're gonna keep going up this way. Comes from all like these little beads and stuff he has. Okay, let's darken those up a bit. Because I don't want to go full black or anything like that just yet, because once we start really pushing and pulling shadows and stuff, you can get lost with that. Alright, trying to look at the reference and get the pictures of kind of what we want here. So we've got a blue that's very similar to this, so I'm going to tone it down just a bit and fill it in. And then we got this yellow that we're going to reuse. I think we're actually reusing this yellow a lot because it's going to pop. Something like that. Ten episodes. Oh, is that a? That doesn't sound like a short comic to me. That's how many? What's an episode, by the way? Learn by doing. Yeah. Chris, welcome. Started the first one this morning. Great stuff. Love your work. Thanks, man. Very inspiring. Keep it up. Pulling you out of your oh man, art funk. Ooh, sorry, dude. That is not good. What's triggering the art funk? Oops. I think we got him pretty much colored. Now we're gonna get the cool background. Then this guy's pretty much done. Think. Am I missing anything? Maybe. There's still a lot of glows and stuff we're gonna add, but like look how many layers I have here. This is getting silly. So this is like a rich blue kind of background. I don't know how this is gonna look. Let's try it. I gotta get the rat tails too. Apparently, forgot. I don't know if I like that. Maybe somewhere like that. Alright, let's give these rats some tails. Oops. Okay, Chucho. Rachel, I'm trying to think in terms of webtoons. So an episode is about 100 to 200 panels. And I think each season is. Oh, wow, that's a lot of work. Chris works in healthcare. She reminds. I hear you, dude. I wish I had advice for you. Like, outside of. I don't like. It's not even good advice. I would say if you can't. If you got an art funk, sketching is a good way to get out of that. But once I had Alexander, it was like that's solid advice, but it's not real. Like you can be literally just burnt out, and if that's what you are, the only advice I would say is just maybe don't worry about drawing so much. Just don't beat yourself up that you're not drawn. Just do what you can to relax, and art will always be there. If you're kind of feeling defeated or something like that, maybe the route to go then would be the sketchbook route. But if you're just feeling like you should be drawing and you're not, don't take it too seriously. No advice needed. Just keep sketching till it clicks. Yeah, okay, right on, man. Been drawn for 30. All right, yeah. All right, my man. Yeah, I think this guy's done too. So again, here I'll just put the what I'm looking at. So it's this one. So as you can see, this one's a lot darker too. Trying to pull some things. It looks like there's some green up here at his skin. I just want to try that before we take this off, or before we move to the next one. Color we go on here. Let me see if I can just bring a little green. Yeah, I don't like that. I like the cooler version here. Okay, so we're gonna go there, and then the next one we got to do is the Tinkerer. This thing. So you can see how you got to be careful. These are like the tones we're looking at. This is like blown out. So just kind of dial it back a bit. The Amazing Guy balances medical school. Is that the guy's name? The Amazing Guy? Just want to add a little bit more texture here. Oh, it's pronounced. Okay. Okay, I think I'm actually going to wrap this up in a couple minutes, you guys. Spend some time with the family here. Just zoom out here. Okay, let's go. Let's get his skin in here anyway, and then we can wrap this up. So thank you guys. If you guys have any last questions or anything like that, jam them in the chat, and I'll answer them for you. If not, thank you everybody that was here, and if you watch a recorded version, thank you. Appreciate that. So sadly, these won't be available tonight, but they will be available tomorrow. So tomorrow, what we're gonna do is we're gonna stream nice and early, and wrap these up, get them on the shop, and then I don't know what we're gonna move on to after this. I know I got some more client stuff to do, so most likely we'll jump into that. Yeah, sorry I said I'd be here for a little bit longer. Okay, is he? I got music going, so I can't even hear. I should probably shut that off. Is he losing his mind in the background? Thanks a lot. Now I get to get cut up. Yeah. No problem, guys. Thank you for rewatching all that stuff too. Really appreciate it. Hey, if you sleep in, no problem. Don't worry. Whoever's there, that's cool. It's no big deal. I'm living in Eastern Standard Time, so it is 4 p.m. right now, and I try to I try to get to the art desk by 7. So probably around 7 or 8 in the morning we'll stream, just to leave some leniency in case you know Alexander has a rough night or something. I just want to finish these goggles here, and then that'll be it. Okay, so that's gold, gold. And I'm wondering if we should do anything else for this Gloomhaven stuff. You guys let me know. I don't think I want to play in front of you guys or anything like that, but I don't know if there's stuff we could watch or something too tomorrow. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, we'll go over here to the blue. Cool. All right. Bronco. Okay, we got a couple questions here. Bronco, do you color lines? Normally I don't, but the chibis that I draw here, yeah. Right now they are. I don't know if can you even see or do I cut that off? Yeah, no. So the line art is this purple color. Really, it's any desaturated color. Usually it's purple because the color will be purple, and it works really well. Sometimes with like earthy characters like this, like check this out. If I went red instead, sometimes it just see it feels a little bit more warm now. It's a very subtle thing, and sometimes I'll do that depending on the character, right? Like this Craighheart, we use the purple. On the other ones, we'd use purple too. So I'm trying to keep them. This one's purple. This one's purple. Just keep it all the same. That way, when they're all next to each other, there's not like, oh wow, that one looks a little bit different than that one kind of thing. Okay, cool. All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And last little plug I'll give you guys for the few that are still in here. On the bottom of the stream there's links in YouTube, and on the screen here, you can see, try to get a mailing list going for people that are interested. You can just go to, it's a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/jarmail, and you can just plug in your email address there and subscribe. Try to send an email once a month, once every 2 months, just giving a little like catalog and whatever the heck I've worked on that month, so you can check it out. For those of you that might not be able to, like, that want to stay up to date, but you can't follow everything I'm posting or anything like that. The other thing is I'm trying, anyway, my best to get my first crowdfunding comic published this year, too. Or not even published, it'd be printed. That's the right word to use. So if you're interested in following the process, as well as being updated on when it launches and all that cool stuff, I'll be sending it through there. On that topic, too, I haven't had a chance to keep digging deeper, but so far I'm leaning towards Kickstarter over Indiegogo. And what you can do on both of those platforms is make a landing page that looks very similar to this, but it'll have like some artwork for the comic, and it's coming. And if you want to know when it launches and stuff like that, add an email address. And I believe it's all goes to the same email thing, so I have to check it out. So whether or not you subscribe to that or this, it'll just keep you up to date with all the stuff I'm doing. So check it out. If not, thanks anyway for being here. I appreciate it. For all the likes, sharing, and all that cool stuff. And like usual, my friends, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.